You're paying premiums for it, first of all. So it's not free. You've paid premiums for it. But those situations, there's so many terminology in a policy, and you can open up most policies now, and we don't pay for soft metal damage. We don't pay for this when it comes to roofs. So those have become the most complex. You think it's the easiest because it's just a roof, $20,000 claim. Those are become the most complex for homeowners.
Today, we have Andy Gurczak. He is the founder and the CEO of AllCity Adjusting, a nationwide public adjusting firm that advocates for property owners during complex insurance claims. With his extensive experience across insurance claims construction, he works with residential and commercial clients to help ensure they get fair settlement after property damage and disaster-related losses. I want to say thank you so much, Andy, for being here, and make yourself at home.
Dee, thank you so much for having me. I love being on the shows. And again, I appreciate giving me the time to speak. So thank you so much.
All right. So help us understand. I don't think there's ever a little kid anywhere who says, oh, I want to be an insurance claim guy. So How did you get started in insurance claim and public adjusting?
No, I wanted to be a fireman actually, but this now I deal with fire, so I guess it all tied in together. No. So I was actually in construction and I met a public adjuster. He was actually one of the first African-American public adjusters in the state of Illinois. He already had 40 years of experience. And I met him on the job site, and after 2 years of calling him and trying to get a hold of him to mentor me, he finally, on my last call, I promised it was going to be the last call to him or I would delete his number. He answered, we met, and then took me under his wing for 3 years. And that's how I learned the business. Public adjusting isn't something there's books about it or there's some crazy education or school. So the really way to get into it is to have a mentor and have someone teach you. And so it all fell in place and kind of some work and stuff like that. But it all did fall into place randomly.
So what led you to build AllCity?
So when we started, and he was teaching me of adjusting claims and how it all works, we opened the company right away. And then I realized really quickly that I really loved, especially handling large losses and fires. And I didn't want to just do it. We started in Illinois. I didn't want to just do it in Illinois. I really thought that we can grow a brand, grow a business, and help people nationwide. And so then when we started working with investors, would say, hey, we had a fire or we had this kind of loss and it's in this state or this city. Are you guys licensed? No, but it takes really quick to reciprocate a license. So then we just grew with our clients. I think now we're 41 or 42 states that we cover.
Oh, wow. All right. Most people they pay for insurance and that's all they ever do. And the only time that they ever really do a claim is on their car. So why shouldn't homeowners handle their own home insurance claims?
100%, because it's a complex game. It's a complex system. So the system is built for the insurance company to make money, delay the claim. There's books written about this: delay, deny, defend. The process is, and it's been exposed by attorneys and in courts, where the insurance companies make some of their money on the money they collect for the insurance, right? Premiums. They collect premiums from each person. But the main money is made when your actual claim is moved to a reserve. And that money's so you have a fire, the insurance company puts away a certain amount of money into a reserve. Once that money's in the reserve for your claim, that money can be invested. So the longer that your claim gets delayed, that money's getting invested and it grows. Now they've made enough money to pay for your claim. Now, if they offer you 50 cents on the dollar, now they've also made money because instead of paying 300, they've only paid you 150. There's books, and this is it's not like it's a scheme. There's books. It's all been exposed. It's been written about. It's been journaled about. So if you're going to go up against the insurance company, you're literally going to court. And then when you're found guilty is when you're like, man, I probably should have hired someone. So you're going up against $1 billion. Every insurance company is in the bill. Yes.
It's Goliath.
Correct.
What's the biggest misconception that people have about their claims process?
Yeah, a lot of people will. And I have these talks. It's a great question, actually. So I have these talks with people. Sometimes when we talk to people and we try to explain our services, and I'm gonna see what happens with the insurance company. I can't blame them, because if someone has had an agent for 20 years and they know him very well, they trust him. They see all these commercials with State Farm and all these funny commercials, right? So they think all these people are there to help them. they don't know that the agent doesn't handle claims. He's never seen the claim system. He doesn't know what happens. All he knows is he's got a couple of buddies, that are contractors that he's going to tell the client to hire. The adjuster is going to have his own vendors, and everyone's working for the insurance company. But the client doesn't know. And a lot of clients want to see what happens or let them handle it. And then by the time they call us, it's too late. I mean, and think about it. How many people actually see their policies? I bet you if you talk to 10 of your homeowners that just purchased a home, they never opened their policy. But yet they have a claim and they're going to go into it without knowing what's in their policy.
Yeah. So what would be the biggest mistake, or what mistakes do homeowners make that end up costing them? Could be thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. There's a ton. We could go through all of them. One of the biggest one I've mentioned on other shows is people talk too much or say the wrong thing. Listen, you can classify a claim the wrong way. So if I call you and you're the rep for the insurance company taking in my claim information, and I say we had a flood come in the basement, you're going to jot everything down. You're going to say, this is denied. Sorry, sir, you don't have flood coverage. But I had a pipe burst and the water spurt. But I called it a flood because as a homeowner, water is water. It's flood. I flooded my basement. But it's pipe breaks frozen, flood's not covered. So it's using the right stuff, using the right words. So a lot of people, the mistake they're making is they're saying the wrong stuff and then they're talking too much. They'll be like, my cousin lived here for 2 months and oh yeah, that electrical, I rewired that myself. You don't got to say anything. People talk because they just think that the insurance, literally they think these people on the line are they're going to help them and they're looking out for them. It's that 360 opposite. They're looking to deny it. Ultimately, they're looking something where they can deny the claim, something that's in the policy they can turn around against you.
So what is an example of a claim where a public adjuster made a huge difference?
Okay. Just a small one. A week ago, as actually a friend of the company, it's a previous client, this was with Country, had a sewer backup. So Country came in, they said, here's a check for $10,000. We wrote an estimate for $16,000, Country did, but we're only paying you 10 because you have a sewer backup of 10. This is easy, small claim, easy for people to understand, for everyday homeowners especially. And so they gave him a check for 10. And then he contacted us. We looked into it, and the toilet overflowed. But that's called a clog, right? The toilet actually got clogged, and then the water overflowed. It didn't back up from each drain, right? Different things. So once we switched the terminology, we got that overturned, got paid under his full limit, rewrote the estimate, and there was a settlement of $32,000 compared to $10,000. It's $20,000 more. Let's think about that the client just received.
That he saved because
correct. So he had a $10,000 check that turned into a $30,000 check.
Yeah.
So now that we basically tripled the claim
and got him that much more. What situations, or are there situations that tend to be more complicated for homeowners?
The most complicated for homeowners, those water backups, those get complicated. Mold, a lot of people call us for. Mold's not a covered loss, unless you have an endorsement for it. These days, most of the complex claims people are going to have is with their roof exterior. We're a large loss company, so usually our claims are 100,000 and up, mostly fires, water, some tornado. That one I just mentioned, that water backup. If it's an investor and we've done previous claims for him, we'll always take and help with all their claims. We won't exclude it. But what we're seeing now is the wind and hail. So high deductibles, right? Storm chasers knocking on doors saying you have a free roof. There's no such thing as a free roof. You're paying premiums for it, first of all. So it's not free. You've paid premiums for it. But those situations, there's so many terminology in a policy, and you can open up most policies now, and we don't pay for soft metal damage. We don't pay for this when it comes to roofs. So those have become the most complex. You think it's the easiest because it's it's just a roof, $20,000 claim. Those are become the most complex for homeowners.
We're seeing a lot of that now for home buyers. We talk a lot of times that when you're looking at buying a home, you always want to have a clue report. Now, most people have never heard what is a clue report, but it basically is following along any claims or claims and loss. I forgot what clue stands for, but it was that it's all the claims and loss that's ever been put against that house. And it stays with the address. It doesn't stay with the homeowner as you get, it stays with the address. So when people are looking at buying a home and this home has already had a roof redone, or it's had a sewer backup, it's had all of those things, those will be on a list somewhere. And it makes a difference when you go to get insurance for your home, because most everybody has to have a mortgage. 80% of people have to have a mortgage of some sort. And that means that you have to have homeowners insurance. When you pull this report, that makes a difference on how much your homeowners insurance is worth or how much it costs. So
Correct.
That's what we look at when we're talking to a home buyer. And we're seeing more in our area is that any roof over the age of 7, a lot of homeowner insurance is giving buyers a hard time because they're like, we don't want to insure the home because your roof is older than 7. Well, most roofs last anywhere from 20 at the earliest to 50 years. And they're already saying, oh, you need to replace it after 7 years. So why should a homeowner be interested in those kinds of things from your aspect when they're looking at buying it? What should they consider when they're looking at a home, knowing what you know going forward with insurance?
When it comes in the insurance industry, especially the claims that we see, right? Insurance companies stopped doing inspections a long time ago. Most insurance companies don't do inspections. They used to inspect the property before they insured you to make sure everything's good, right? Those times are over. Now they'll do an aerial inspection or maybe send an inspection from the exterior. So the inside of the property, really, that's obviously you have a home inspector, nothing too insurance-wise to worry about. I guess I would be worrying about the basement. Has there any been water damage? If I have a finished basement, is there a chance that there might be another water backup or something's happening? Make sure I have coverage for that. Also, how old is the home? Oh, the home is 100 years old. You might want a service line endorsement. What a service line endorsement, it's very cheap, but what it does is it basically covers for, let's say, tree roots, anything that damages the main line, sewer line, that actually covers that. Because no policies do not cover sewer lines that are coming into the home, in the home. That's called the service line endorsement, special endorsement for that. So if I know I have an old home with clay tiles coming in or something like that, I would definitely want to get that endorsement. Also with law and ordinance. State Farm, for example, on homeowners claims, on homeowner properties, law and ordinance is included. And in most policies they are. A lot of insurance companies now are started taking it out and making it optional. So if you don't know that you need it and your agent doesn't offer to you, we've seen people who are like, hey, it's an Allstate. Where's your law and ordinance? My agent said I didn't need it. Well, your home is 50 years old. Every 10 years, codes change. You know, what happens now? You had a water loss, 2 floors need to be gutted. Now the city says all the electrical has to be upgraded. You got to do fire sprinklers and you got to do better insulation. But it's going to cost you $30,000. That's law and ordinance. You don't have coverage for it. So now that's out of pocket. So law and ordinance coverage is very important. And on the exterior, knowing how old the roof is, like you said, is super important. Not also because they might come in once they insure you and say, hey, we're going to not insure you because your roof has to be replaced. But also a lot of policies now have a thing where it says if your roof is older than 10 years or 15 years, we only pay the actual cash value. So let's just say your roof is $20,000 to replace and it's 20 years old. Now the insurance is going to pay you 20, but they're going to depreciate the roof, let's just say by 50%. So that depreciation technically gets paid on replacement cost once the repairs are done. But if they're saying that it's older than 15, now you get a check for $10,000 minus your deductible, which is now like $5,000-$6,000 on these roofs. It's very high. Now you have left $4,000. What are you going to do with $4,000? Replace 1/4 of the roof? So knowing the age of the roof, even if they insure you, and they keep the insurance, knowing the age of the roof is super important and looking back at your policy.
So you say...
I know I threw a lot in.
No,
in
there.
No, there's a lot.
Fantastic. But it's like, all right, so we have investors that we work with as well. You said yourself, you work with investors.
Correct.
So why should an investor have a public adjuster on their team, somebody in their back pocket? Yeah. Why is that a must?
For the same reason you have a tax accountant, for the same reason an investor has a real estate agent, an attorney, like you've built a team because you want to surround yourself with the best. Having a public adjuster, in this case, if you called us, D, and said, you're a homeowner, you're an investor, I had this happen. We're going to take a look at it. Is it beneficial for you to file this claim? Like we have a big investor that has over 2,000 doors, right? It's a big client and they have a lot of going on. Their deductibles are super high on these wind claims. So before they file a claim, we make sure, is it worth it? Is the damage going to go over? Are we going to be able to recover? So even after deductible, they're going to have money left over, or they don't even want to file. They'll just pay out of pocket for some of these damages. That's one part of it, right? But then actually recovering and making sure it moves quick, they get the highest recovery, and that they have money to do the repairs, have money left over, and now they can take that money, invest in more. That's the one time I would say, let's just say you called and said, we had maybe water in the basement. There's a family, there's myself and 5 kids. We just wanted someone come in, drain the water, put the walls back and call it a day. In that situation, I would say, D, hire this restoration company, water mitigation. You really don't need a public adjuster in this situation. There are situations you don't. But again, we wouldn't force ourselves. That's the whole goal. A good adjuster will tell you, D, in this situation, you need this. Let's do it this way. That's just like a good attorney would, just to put you in the best situation.
How can someone prepare for damage before it happens?
Yeah. So the one thing, the best, you really can't prepare for damage. You can do what insurance companies are doing now. It's called they're looking at wear and tear. So they're going into these buildings after a claim and they're saying, that's old. You got to upkeep your building, right? A lot of new homeowners think that anything that happens, my dishwasher's been leaking for 2 months. That's not a claim. You're just not maintaining your home. You have to still do maintenance. Insurance company is in the maintenance. It's not insuring maintenance. It's insuring a one-time peril. So yes, maintaining your home, and then also looking over your policy and knowing that you have the right coverage for everything and that you have the right policy. How do you do that? You hope that your agent goes over the policy, which most don't. Our company, if anyone wants to call and send in their policy, we do free claim reviews, free policy reviews. We literally love looking at policy. We'll take a look at policy, match the address, age of the home, look at it, see what's missing. Is there too much coverage? Is there too little? All that we do for clients. For future, like people that they're not our clients. So just for any listener, if they would want to send in their policy, we're more than happy to look over.
Thank you so much. That's an amazing value just right there. Where do you see insurance claims and public adjusting heading in the next few years?
Yeah, great question. You see the need for public adjusters more and more, because the way insurance companies are handling claims with basically letting go of the older generation of staff adjusters and hiring young, independent, like more just outsourcing stuff. It's getting worse for clients. So there's going to be a bigger need. But hopefully with the lobbyists and for example, there's a situation in Kentucky right now where they're trying to limit public adjusters to only charge 5% max. If you have a $20,000, $30,000 claim, no public adjuster is going to help you for 5%, because it's just not our standard in the industry is usually 10, 15%. It can be more on some different claims, less on some large complex claims. But they're trying to basically make it where there's still a public adjuster designation, but we can't do anything. So it says 5%. People have 30 days to cancel, and then a public adjuster cannot negotiate, discuss it. So basically, then we can't do anything in Kentucky. But the lobbies are pushing that bill so hard. Hopefully, it doesn't pass. It doesn't go all the way, and it doesn't come into fruition, because it would just ruin it for people in Kentucky. Because now your only option is attorney at 33%.
Yeah. I mean, it's what happened with real estate agents 2 years ago when the DOJ got involved with us and said, oh, real estate agents, there was never a time, not ever, that you couldn't negotiate a real estate agent's commission. It has never been a set or standard. There never has been. You always could negotiate. So when New York, Minnesota, and all of those got together with the DOJ and started coming after the National Association of Realtors, it literally was because there are certain states where the listing agent and the buying agent are the same person. They're a transactional agent. Florida's one, New York was one, Minnesota was one. And that's how that came about. So it sounds like you guys are the next turkeys that
I'm telling you, they're coming after, and it's just like wild. In Illinois, they capped just the stuff they're doing is all you're hurting is the consumer. Without us, the amount of people we've helped, small, big claims, the amount of lives we've changed, like the money we've gotten, you're going to take that away. But again, there's people with bigger pockets pushing that forward.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, the consumer is the only one that gets hurt.
Yeah.
We tell people, our contract is designated by the state. We're not an attorney or restoration company throwing a contract that we just made up. The state reviewed it. The state wrote it.
Exactly.
It protects you. So not only are we there to protect you, the state's looking out to make sure you're protected. But if you're going to take that away, you're just hurting the bottom line consumer.
And the consumers don't know. They think that, the government's doing this to help us.
Oh, yeah.
And it really is. The guy who started this whole thing with the NAR now owns a brokerage company.
Oh, there you go.
And he's, no, I'm not a brokerage. I'm only matching homeowners with agents. I'm like, that's a brokerage. So what should homeowners and investors start doing now to better protect their properties?
Yeah, definitely have someone review. First of all, review your policies. Whether you send it to us, send it to someone else, have a third-party adjuster or someone review your policies. Because we look at it from the claim standpoint. If you ask your agent for a policy, he doesn't even have one. He has to request it from someone. But you sold me this policy and I'm paying a premium for it, but you don't have a copy of it laying around. Like, how is that? They don't know their policies. All we do is look over policies because we negotiate them. So we're looking from a different angle. So when people say, I want to make my agent, should I notify my agent? No, because your agent doesn't have no clue what's happening. He's never done a claim. Whole different salesperson. So let's separate them. Reviewing your policies that's how you protect yourself. Knowing you have the right coverage, knowing you have the right insurance, that's the best you can do. Protecting the property is maintenance and updating stuff. That's hard for us to say, but from sitting at a far away or sitting at a different table, but reviewing a policy, we could do that from anywhere. And it takes minutes to review a policy.
What lessons has running your business taught you that no book, no MBA, nothing else could have?
Oh, wow. There's so many, because it just was a roller coaster ride to get here. Yeah. What hasn't taught me? Let's see. I think knowing books and knowing numbers. I went in starting this business, never had anyone in family. I knew the adjusting, the restoration, the construction side. I was really good at that. And then I learned the adjusting from my mentor. But I didn't know anything about business in terms of running books and stuff. And really quickly realized, you have to know the numbers. To me, that became very important as the business went on. I'm like, we're doing very well, but there's not a lot in the account. What's going on? So I guess knowing the numbers was one that was book. And there's a book called The E-Myth that really opened my mind to building a company, not just a mom and pop business, but actually a company, a brand.
Yeah, because you're coast to coast now. And you're in 40, you said 42 states?
42 states. I think we have 6 offices now across America. So yeah, we're growing into a great, we can get boots on the ground within the same day, any state, if we have a fire. Yeah, we have a freaking great team. The one thing is the team here, the people we have are awesome.
What mindset helps entrepreneurs succeed in tough industries like ours?
Yeah, I think it's just the grit of just keep going. Because I think we all could have closed doors a long time ago. We could have all said, F this, I don't want this, I'm done. But it's that, no, you can do whatever you want against us. We're going to keep pushing. People are like, are you upset about this, what they're trying to do here, or this law that passed? I'm like, I don't care. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. We're really good at it. And then we're going to figure it out. But one thing is, we're not going to back down. We're not going to just lay down. That's at least my mindset. I've never been... Don't take no for an answer. And
it's funny because it just happened this past week. Okay. And I know it's real estate related, but it's the same thing. Don't take no for an answer. I don't mind. No is a complete sentence. I have no problems accepting no, but I don't take my first no ever. And so it's okay. I'm helping a buyer client wants to buy a house, but they want to buy it for this price. And the house is overpriced. I know the house is overpriced, but it's also new construction. New construction is a whole different ball, because if they sell your house for lower, then they have to sell all their other houses for lower. So I know the game. So I ask, hey, we want it for this price with this much in flex money, because you can always bring your purchase price down on the end if you have the flex money to spend on it. So I said, we want it for this price with this much flex money. No, I can't do that. I understand. But I asked, would you ask your boss? Because they're the ones who know what the margins are. You, the rep up front, may not know what the margins are. So I'm like, can I get a no from him? If I can get a no from him, okay. So we did, but it took us like a week of him and Han going, can you please just ask? That's all I want. And then I got a call going, yeah, you've literally set the company on fire because everybody wants to know how you got his phone number. I'm like, we live in a digital age.
Yeah, we asked. We just find it's so easy these days. There's no, I can't do something shouldn't be an answer these days. Like, I can't do it. I don't know how to do it. Like with YouTube and everything we have, I don't. Me and my wife own a nice portfolio of real estate. And one thing was when we were like calling or like buying stuff, we couldn't get like an agent to just do what we asked. If we wanted a property, we'd say, can you make an offer of this much? They're not going to accept it.
You're not ask? Them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why? Are you working? Just ask. Like we literally got a property last year. It was listed for $299. We got it for $220. But it was on the market. I'm like, hey, it's been on the market for a year. Let's ask for 100 under. And the agent's like, crazy? I'm like, just ask. If we don't, who cares? What do you care? Just ask. And if they don't, it came up 20 grand, like 80 grand discount. But it would have never happened if we didn't ask. And then if you just expect that everyone's going to say no for an answer, then you're not going to get much done. So,
yeah, Ted always says, what's the worst thing they can say? Yes.
Exactly.
Then you're stuck. You're stuck with what you asked for. Okay? Yeah. So what's hard with that?
Yeah, I know. I guess it's easier to say no and just be done. I guess that's easier for a lot of people. So
we truly do believe in the power of asking. And that's the thing is you have to ask. And Ted looked up.
That's a good book title. The Power of Asking.
The Power of Asking. Because if you don't ask, you don't get.
Correct.
Yeah. What was it? What was it? What movie is it? Please, sir, may I have small?
Oh,
Oliver, that's what it was. So,
Oliver.
Yeah. Because if you don't ask, you go hungry.
Yep.
All right. So just to help, Ted did look up for me. The clue report is the comprehensive loss underwriting exchange. So that's what your clue report is. But Andy, I have been absolutely blown away. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you helping our clients learn how to protect themselves. And we definitely will put out all of your socials because I got a feeling you're probably going to be flooded with a whole bunch of policies to make sure people have
no problem.
I know I want to send you mine. So
I love looking at policies and I'm like, we look with the team and then we send it in. We're like, oh my God, they don't have coverage here. Oh my God. They're like, and it's just holy smokes. And then we let them know and then they send it to their agent. And they sometimes CC us when they send to their agent, and the agent just goes, I will look into this. And there's no response. It's just, I will look into it. It's great.
I will definitely send you ours so we can make sure that we've got the coverage that we need. But I can't thank you enough for this time. It has been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much. Again, we've got all your socials. We'll put out everything on there. And if anybody hears this, and send you their policy, I want to thank you again. So.
Thank you for having me. Like I said, I love being a host. I love talking about this. I get giddy about talking about PA stuff and what we do, and especially that people don't know. So thank you for giving me the platform to speak.
Thanks for joining me on Make Yourself at Home. I hope you found insights and inspiration to help you navigate your real estate journey with confidence. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and share this show with your friends because everyone deserves to feel at home. Until next time, stay informed, stay empowered, and keep making moves that matter.